Hi, very good morning to all of you. It's sharp 11. I think we'll just wait for a couple of minutes more. We have a few more participants joining. I can see some familiar faces. Milfred. Hi, Millie. Okay, I think they're muted.
Hi, Jose.
Hey, hi.
Hi. I'm in London, so kind of just surfacing.
Oh my God, that's pretty early for you.
Mm-hmm.
So until we take another 2 more minutes, let me ask you how. I've known you for so many years. You've traveled around the world. So let me ask you, how was your trip to London this time, post-COVID?
Oh my God, it is it's not a pleasure to travel in these times, and I had to come in via Ukraine. So while I
Oh,
made a holiday of it, it's not the best of things for people who have to travel for pleasure.
I can understand. In fact, I got a very similar feedback from another person who travels quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and exactly what they said. Yeah, I think the golden era of travel, what we have seen, I think is long gone, Millie.
No, but I think we'll get used to it. It's just it's going to get better for sure,
That's for
but
sure.
we'll get used to these checks and additional tests and things that you have to do because it's in the interest of oneself. So I don't see it as such a big problem. It's just that we were so spoiled. You could just jump onto a plane and travel where you wanted to. Now you have to think about what you have to do before you do it.
Absolutely.
And as far as the passenger is concerned, it's not so easy to travel by yourself. You need a travel agent for sure.
Very true. I remember in the early 2000s when the OTAs came into the Indian market, Thai and Toffee conferences were speaking about the death of the travel agent, which
Hmm.
eventually never happened.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for taking a time off, Millie, to join us from London. I can see another familiar face, Mr. Vijay Putran. Very good morning to you, sir. Okay, Samin, we are 11-2. I think we should start, right?
Yeah, Joe, I think we should start with the introduction, right? So by the time we reach to the product, there would be a couple of more people that should join in.
Okay, super. Fantastic. So I'm just going to share my screen. I hope you'll be able to see that. Are you able to
Yeah,
see my
we
screen?
can see that, Joe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to record.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to start. All right. For those of you who have joined us from across India, thank you so very much for taking your time off on a Wednesday morning to join us. This is going to be a 1 hour webinar, and this is the agenda for the next 60 minutes. Yeah, we'll try to make it as interesting as possible for you. I know anything more than 20 minutes does not have your attention span for all of us. So we'll try to make it as interesting as possible. Uh, we'll quickly introduce you what Pathfinder is all about and the people who's built this. Uh, I'm going to request my colleague Samin to take us through a site demo. So we have a front-end site demo and the back-end site demo. Then just one slide on the pricing, because our pricing is straightforward, simple. And then quite some time for us to discuss on question and answer sessions. I'm sure you might have a lot of questions. And of course, last is the free credits and the closing as we do. Yeah. So just before we started speaking to Millie, we took her opinion on how the travel was. I've known Millie for many years, and now she's a very seasoned traveler. So obviously things have changed post-COVID. Yeah. In fact, there have been articles being written which says that there are three epic eras. One is BC, before Christ. Second one is AD, Anno Dominion, what we're going through. The third one will be PC, post-COVID. At least from a travel industry perspective, post-COVID is definitely going to be the the way forward. So it's going to be before COVID and after COVID. With all these complexities happening around for us in the globe, where are we going? I mean, is travel industry still around? Yes, it was decimated by the COVID-19. There is no doubt about it. In fact, the World Tourism Organization has said almost 90% of the people in the travel industry lost their job in 1 year, which has never happened in the previous so many years of their existence. Yeah. So we all know the impact of COVID, but in general, falling margins has always been a cause of concern for all of us. Reducing client base because of our inefficiencies or because of competition giving lower pricing and taking away from them. Raising customer expectations. The social media has bought in so much of things. It's so instant now, and obviously everything is shared. So one negative or one small thing that it can go wrong can have a very cascading or dominion effect on us. So customers raise expectations, have risen to an all-time high, and of course higher operational complexity. So added to all these challenges, we have a few problems created by the COVID pandemic. I'm not going to really dwell upon this because all of us have gone through this, but in general, yeah, this is, we have to reduce costs, fewer staff members, no digital frontage. Some people have been trying to build a website or a booking engine for many years. The travel agents in India whom I know, they have spent a lot of money on it. They've spent a lot of time on it, spent a lot of energy on it, but they still haven't been able to get it up and running. Of course, everybody's got budget cuts, including the customers who are not able to travel as they used to be. Higher cost of building infrastructure. This is from a tech perspective. Work from home, yes, it's become the norm now. And the COVID factors are changing dynamically. Yeah. What is today? So that's why if some of you have been processing visas, you'll understand every consulate is putting up almost every day update about the COVID process. So in handling all these complexities, what really happens is you as business owners, as travel counselors, travel consultants are spending a lot of time to battle all these, whereas customers love you for something else. Customers love you for the knowledge that you have, for getting them out of tricky situations, cancel flights, things like those. Customer, whatever said and done, technology cannot replace you as a travel agent, you as a travel counselor. I mean, you will know that staying in Pattaya, the third cross, you walk back from the hotel, you get a lovely Indian restaurant. That's something which you know, and that's the knowledge which you have gathered over many years of working in the travel industry and physically visiting Pattaya and passing this, having had that Indian food there and passing on this knowledge to the customer. So how can Pathfinder assist you? So Pathfinder has built, it's basically the Shopify for travel. And the next few slides, I'm just going to quickly touch upon what we have built over the last 5.5, 6 years. 2015, 16, we started Pathfinders. So we've been around for the last 5.5, 6 years. We have fairly managed to do well during COVID time because a lot of our international markets opened up when India went through 2 phases of lockdown last year and this year. Yeah. So instead of going through these kind of fancy jargons and fancy slides, it's a lot more better if you're actually able to see what the system can do. But just to give you, put this in perspective, it's basically a travel operating system. Yeah. And I say travel operating system, it's not like an Amadeus or a Sabre or a GDS, but it's all encompassing. It's all in one. It's not just flights. It's flights, hotels, sightseeing, transfers, all put together, dynamic packaging, coupled with artificial intelligence. What it will also help us to do is that you can almost instantly launch your own site with dynamic packages, with outstanding prices from global players. Yeah. So as I mentioned to you earlier, it's not just for what we have built is not just for travel partners in India, but we've also built this system for travel partners across the globe. And there's also an opportunity for you to upload your offline content. Like, for example, I know Millie is based in Bangalore, of course, though now she's in London. She's got fantastic rates in Coorg, yeah, or Chikmagalur. So Millie can upload those rates for Coorg and Chikmagalur for her own consumption, or she can also choose to publish it for all the other Pathfinder partners. So somebody sitting in, let's say, Goa, or let's say in Calcutta is booking to their clients to come to Chikmagalur. The fulfillment is done by Millie's team. So it kind of becomes an offline marketplace. So what is basically Pathfinder? It's a no-code artificial intelligence powered plug and play travel operating system for travel partners that serves as a Shopify for travel. Well, artificial intelligence is, very fancy name. We like to call it as an augmented intelligence. Yeah, because all these intelligence that we do is to assist our travel partners. So there are almost 1 billion data points we have searched across the internet to get these pricing and the products for you, and backed by our proprietary algorithms which we have built. So for us, tech is in-house, it's not outsourced. So we're a deep tech company. So what this helps all of you is we are an extension of your technology partner. Yeah. So we keep on building new products, new technologies, new algorithms, newer version of Pathfinder, and all this just comes to you as it is. Yeah. So basically, from a no digital presence to a global one of its kind custom online travel in less than 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I think we are just trying to put it in a very large sense. I think a couple of my colleagues in the customer success team and Samim probably can make this go live in the next 120 seconds. Samim, you can do it in 2 minutes time.
Yeah, absolutely, we can, Joe.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so this slide is just to show how deep our tech is. So once you understand our, start using our system, you'll understand that there are various touch points which comes onto one screen, which pulls data, real-time authenticated data from across the globe. Yeah, whether it is the flight ranking, whether it's from the analytical hierarchy process, AHP, or is it from the activity scheduling using NLP, which is natural language processing, or geospatial analysis. So all this is happening at the back end. For you, it's just a search in the front end. Yeah? But at the back end, system is extremely intelligent. Of course, it was not intelligent when we built it. Over the last 5-6 years, it has become exceptionally intelligent with more and more data coming in, and with partners, with feedback from partners like yourself, we are refining the system on a daily basis. Yeah. So I think I'm almost taking 10 minutes of my time, so I don't want to eat into Samin's time. So let me quickly go through the next couple of slides. So what we have done, yes, we have now across 32 countries in the 4 major continents. Month on month, we're growing at 250% transactions. Currently, we are with about 350 odd customers. Almost 50% is from across the globe as well. And all this is also backed by some good awards that we have won. These are not just domestic or Indian awards. There are some global awards as well, which we have won. Yeah, that's just for you to understand that we are quite serious in what we have done, and a lot of people have also recognized what we do. So who is behind Pathfinder? Earlier, this slide used to have about 10 to 12 people. Obviously, I had to remove them because now the team is expanded to about 35 plus, 30 odd plus. But just to give you a quick introduction, Varun Gupta is our founder and CEO. He's an MBA from Harvard, and He's also had some experience working in the travel space with the Maldivian Airways. So he's built this system along with the tech team, brick by brick, or I would say as byte by byte, and it's come to this level. We have a fairly large business development team spread across India. We have a customer success team, which is basically the back-end operations once the sales starts to happen. We have a fairly large tech team as well, and of course, a good marketing team as well to take Pathfinder to level next. Sorry for those of you who don't know me, my name is Joseph, also called as Joe in the travel trade. I've been in the travel industry for the last 24 years, and I've joined Pathfinder as Senior Vice President for Business Operations. So that's about this team, who we are. So as you see at the bottom, we have a whole lot of people from the travel industry who are in this, right? From ClearTrip to FCM to Oyo to Akbar and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of people from the travel industry who are working as a part of this team, who will also who understand. So what I'm trying to tell you is, we're just not a technology company. Yeah, we're a travel technology company with both pieces of travel and technology embedded in us. Yeah. So that's it from my side. I'm going to give this screen to Samin. He's going to quickly do a demo for you in the front end and the back end, and then we come back to the presentation. Over to you, Samin.
Sure. Thanks, Joe, for doing that brief overview, right? And thank you also for sharing the most interesting part and assigning it to me rather than you taking it over. Yeah, so basically, to summarize, right, what the entire platform is about, it's a kind of a software, right? You just have to imagine it in a very simple layman term. It allows you to do only 3 things that you need to remember right now. The first thing is that you would have an OTA of your own in matter of less than 15 minutes, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it comes embedded with the extranet, right? Which allows you to go ahead and upload across your own customized inventory, right? And the third is basically we bring across lots of AI powered automation into your daily workings for something simple as going ahead and creating an itinerary, or going ahead and creating the packages and sharing it across with the client. So that's entirely done with the help of the AI. So basically, we had created this unique IP, where we have the ability to go ahead and create across these packages from any point to any point in the world in matter of less than 60 seconds. And for this very same tech, right, as Joe has showcased you in the previous slides, we have won lots of awards from where NASSCOM rating us as one of the top 50 startups in India, right? Or the World Tourism Forum basically telling us that we are the best e-commerce solution in India, Indian subcontinent, in fact, right? Now, how do we enable this for the customers, right? So it's pretty simple, right? So when we say 15 minutes, right, we really mean it. So all that you have to do is basically, this is a kind of a paid software solution, right? And once a travel agent goes ahead and pays us for this, right, he basically is granted a login ID and password. And once you have the access to the login ID and the password, right, so you have the access to the backend interface. And from here, you can do a bunch of different things. So let me just showcase the first thing that we can do is how you can go ahead and create an OTA of your own in matter of less than 2 minutes, right? So all that is expected from a travel agent is to have a domain name. Can be easily purchased through GoDaddy, BigRock, any of those domain name providers. All you have to do is plug in that domain name over here, upload a background logo, upload a background image, come down to the accounting and finance module, choose which of the services that you like to display across to your customers, right? From here, add across various different margins, either in terms of percentage or either in terms of a flat fee. So something like if you want to go ahead and charge your customers per sector flight fee, you can do that from here. Click on save and publish, right? And in that very instance, you would have a website with the default template like this activated. Now, once this website is activated, it will also come across with a bunch of inventory, which is powered by various different suppliers. I will disclose those suppliers to you easily. So now once the website is ready, right, how does it looks like in the real world for your customers, right? I mean, that's for your own agency, right? So let's take a look at this example. So this is a Chennai-based travel agent, right? That's Travelberries. So here you can see that what they have done is that they have used our solution itself as a landing page. So whenever somebody types in, let's say, travelberries.in, they see the entire solution over here, right? And from here, you would have all the functionalities, that is the travel agency, to go ahead and customize this landing page from here itself. Now, so this is the first instance, right, where you don't even have a website, right? All that you have is a domain name, which is lying somewhere in your GoDaddy account. You're already thinking that you would do something someday about it, right? Now, this is how you can go ahead and utilize that and make that active in a matter of less than 15 minutes. Now, let's take a look at the second example. So this is a travel agent that's based out of Gurgaon, right? And what they had was that they already had a travel website of their own. Now, this particular travel agent typically does lots of corporate reservations, right? So they offer a self-booking tool for corporates, but they never had a holiday wing of their own. So all they did was basically they added across this holidays as a tab. And whenever somebody goes ahead and clicks on it, right, a subdomain opens up, which is holidays.dgtravels.co.in. And from here, the customers of DG Travel can go ahead and plan across their own trip, right? Now, let's take a look at the another example, right, as to what would be can be done, right? So lots of you might be having an apprehensions that, let's say, these templates look more or less the same, but give across this widget code to you, right? So this is an additional piece of code that you can paste it on top of your existing website. So now your customer have best of both the worlds. So they can perform any of the search what they require, right, from here. Now, what will make this particular website far better than, let's say, any other website in the world or any of the largest OTAs which are available out there, right? So before I get into that, let me also go ahead and showcase you where this content is coming from, right? And how it is gelling along with your existing business operations, right? So here, all of these tabs that you see over here right now, they are powered across by these various different B2B suppliers. So as a part of a default offering, so when you take across the solution from us, right, you would already get the inventory from these particular suppliers already plugged in into your website. And the best part is, whatever rates that you currently have in your own TBO login or in your own GRN login or in your own ClearTrip login, those are the very same rates that would be displayed over here, right? So you can go ahead and keep across the regular margins that you like to keep, right? Your customers would come, they would book the entire service online, right? And you would have your margins minted at any point of time, right? Now, I would go on to say to an extent that this solution, what we are providing, is very unique in the world, right? And this solution is far better than, let's say, even an Expedia or a booking.com, right? As Joe was highlighting you, right, that any other website in the world will tell you that, hey, this is the bunch of options that we have, and you can go ahead and select from that option. But what we do is that we take across a traveler's intent into account and make that particular decision making easy for the traveler. Let's look at how, right? So let's assume that Joe is in Bangalore, right? He walks into my agency, right? He tells to me that, hey, I would like to plan a 4-day trip tomorrow, Sameer, right? What is that you can recommend? So ideally, we have identified that the customers would only come to you in two formats, right? You would be having the first form of customer who will tell you that, hey, I want to travel to, let's say, Cook. I want to travel to, let's say, Munnar, right? And then there will be a second format of the customer who really doesn't know where he wants to travel. So that's when we select across Inspire Me. So let's assume that Joe doesn't know where he wants to travel.
Yeah,
right?
actually inspire me because I've traveled quite a bit, so I don't know why to travel now.
Absolutely. So let's see what the system throws us at us, Joe, right? So go ahead and selected here on a road trip. Let's say that Joe would like to do sightseeing, and let's take, he would like to stay at good hotels. So he's obviously VP business development right here. So he would stay at good hotels, right? So I'll go ahead and select a random budget. And let's see what the system goes ahead and gives us, right? So here is what's happening right now. So just like what a typical travel consultant's mental model is, right? So when a problem like this is thrown across, so the travel consultant does following things. First is he goes ahead and identifies, okay, so what are all the drivable distances from Bangalore that Joe can travel to? And once I've gone ahead and identifies those particular destinations, I will basically figure out what are the destinations which are known for sightseeing. If Joe would have asked me for adventure, then my recommendations would have been very different over here. Or if Joe would have asked for relaxation, then my recommendations would have been very different. Now here, our system has gone ahead and figured out that, all right, there are 12 such destinations that Joe can drive from Bangalore in and around the vicinity of that particular destination. And it has gone ahead and showcased us a bunch of results. Now, what are these results? So some of there are the usual suspects, right? So you have Gola, you have Munnar, right? So Mangalore is new. You have Pondicherry, you have Chennai, Alleppey. Okay, so Mamalapuram is new, right? So you have this list of entire options, right, which is suggested by the customer. Now this comes in very handy, right? Wherein, let's say your travel consultant goes ahead and recommends a couple of options to the customer. Your customer, after consulting with his family and friends, right, comes back to the travel consultant and says that, that, hey, I would like a couple of more options, right? And when there is a third round and the fourth round of iteration, which is generated, right, where the customer wants to ask more options from you, but is hesitant, right, because he already feels the guilt that he has already asked you so many options, right, if he should really go ahead and ask you certain more options or not. At the same point of time, the motivation of a travel consultant dips with each of the new requests which is shared across by the customer, right? Here, in one particular instance, right, imagine a situation where the customer, before he even keeps the call, you have this entire bunch of 12 recommendations which are generated. You can put across his email address and send it across to the customer. Another interesting aspect is that the system is not just built for India. The system is built for the world, right? And just like how Joe was highlighting, right, we have customers we have more than 350 customers across 32 different countries, right? That means the system is as equally relevant for your customer or for Millie, right, who is based in London, right? And let's assume that she has some customers in London and the customers in London want some suggestions and options from Millie, right? So she can go ahead and generate these recommendations in an instance like that, right? And not just that, the system will also display across the prices in the regional currency, right? So that's one. Now, another interesting aspect over here is that if you see, we have gone ahead and ranked these particular destinations, right? So the Goa has been given as rank 1, Munnar has been given as rank 2, right? So what's all this about, right? So here we follow across a very simple philosophy. So just like how you will go ahead and type a search term on, let's say, Google, right? And the most relevant results would be generated on top, right? So here, what's the logic behind, let's say, suggesting a customer that why Goa might be number 1 in comparison to, let's say, Munnar, right? So there are a bunch of other factors, right? So the two primary factors what we have is the travel safety index, which is the most relevant concern for the customers right now, right? So rather than saying to the customer that, hey, sir, everything is fine right now, right? You can definitely visit Goa, right? So I can go ahead and support that with factual data, right? So I can say that, okay, so I have seen that, that this is the kind of the total cases that we have seen in Goa so far, right? This is the kind of the air quality that you can expect. These are the kind of the health and the medical infrastructure overall situation that you will find in Goa. And combining an average of all of this, we come at a traveler safety index. So traveler safety index moves on a scale from red to green. So the greener the destination means safer to travel. That when the destination is in red, it's not recommended for you to travel. So it makes the decision making again that easier for you. Here, the second factor is what we consider is that how many people have that intent to travel, let's say from Bangalore to Goa. What's the kind of predictive weather that would be there in Goa, right? When is the best time to visit Goa? Ideally, for how many days you should visit that particular destination for. So all of that in a nutshell. And when you go ahead and email this entire thing to the customer, it looks like this. So it will go out in this beautiful PDF format with your branding on it, right? With the basic destination content, with the tentative pricing information for that destination. How would you get there? Where would you stay at? And what are the general expenses that you can expect within that destination? So something as simple as, let's say, the taxi cost or a gas cost or a coffee cost or a Coke cost and all of that. And not just for a single destination, you can go ahead and share this across for the entire page, which is generated out here. So this document becomes like the personalized brochure, which I have created for Joe right now, right? And Joe then would have the option basically to select whatever option that he likes from here and then go ahead and finalize it. So let's say, let us ask Joe, right? So Joe, would you like to plan an international trip or something?
Oh, yeah. With my wife, yeah. The Paris.
All right. Okay. All right. So here, Joe has specifically indicated us that he would like to travel to Paris. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take the origin city still as Bangalore, or we can take it something new, right? So let's take it from Mumbai. right? Just to show you the global applicability of it. So would you like to spend winter in Paris, Joe?
Yes.
So
It's
let's
the
take
time.
15th to 22nd, or let's say, okay, let me take 21st. So we have, okay, so just traveling along with his wife, and he would like to travel to, let's say, Paris. Gonna send to Paris. Continue. Some random tentative budget, right, which would make sense for us to go ahead and create that particular trip, and go ahead and select next. Now here, the difference in the search is that since Joe has specified us clearly that he would like to travel to Paris, right? System is right now trying to figure out, how do I get to Paris, right? Where would Joe be staying at Paris that matches across with his budget criteria? And what are the various different things that Joe can do, right? Which have the main theme as a sightseeing. And this is where our system is far more evolved than any other OTA in the world, right? While other OTAs will throw across the bunch of destinations, right, or the bunch of content, right, that, hey, these are the 50 different options, how you can travel between Mumbai and Paris, right, on flight. These are the 500 different hotel options in Paris, right, from where you can select from. And these are the bunch of 1,000 different activities in Paris that you can do, right? Our system is going ahead and figuring out right now what would be the most right choices for Joe to travel to Paris from Bombay. As you can see over here, our system is going ahead and figured out what would be the most appropriate flight out of all the flights which are operating between Bombay and Paris. What would be the ideal stay where he can put up, right? And what would be the day-wise activities, what Joe should do. Now here, if you see why we have ranked this particular Emirates flight as number one, right? Here, we have the clear indicators given out here that this particular flight, which is there on Emirates, is cheaper than the other flights by 98.61%, right? So there are out of the 100 flights, right? So this particular flight scores higher when the cheaper criteria is concerned. This particular flight is not necessarily the fastest, but it still scores across 90.74% on the flight criteria. So basically, if you see what we have done here is that we have gone ahead and taken across a human intent into account, right? So rather than showcasing the cheapest available flight on the top, we have taken a very different approach altogether. So we have taken across human intent into account. So how do travelers actually go ahead and select a particular flight, right? So when I am personally selecting flights, right, I basically figure out multiple different factors into consideration, or consider multiple different factors. Will this particular flight get me into the destination right around my time of the hotel's checking? Or will this particular flight is cheaper than the others, or this particular flight is faster than the others, right? Does this particular flight has a least amount of stopover in comparison to the other flights? So as you can see over here, our system has already done that bunch of calculations on the back end, right? So, okay. So yeah, so basically out of 216 different recommendations, or 216 different flight combinations, right, which are possible, right, our system has gone ahead and figured out that this particular flight, which is there on Emirates, would be the best for the passenger, right? So there are 17 such factors which the system takes into account. This is a patent pending algorithm for which we have filed a patent with the Indian Patent Organization as well for this ranking mechanism. Now, this is the thing with the hotels, right? So all of you come from various different cities, right? So we have people, we have Otto joining in from South Africa, right? We have a bunch of people joining in across from various different parts of the continent on this demo call, right? Now, if I, let's say, ask across Joe, right? Joe, what would be, let's say, the best hotel in Bangalore within a budget of 5,000 rupees per night? Which area would you recommend me?
Probably somewhere on MG Road, around that side.
All right. The reason, Joe, why you were able to give across that answer instantaneously back to me is that you are so super aware of that locality out there, right? Yep. Now, however, this is not usually the case, right? So let's say a customer walks into our office, right, and asks me, right, what's the best hotel that I can get in Vladivostok, right, in Russia, within a budget of, let's say, 200 euros per night. Here, I'm clueless, right? So either I have to rely on two different things. So first, I will go ahead and email it across to my DMC that what would be the best possible option in Vladivostok, right? And the second option is that I go across on a bunch of review websites, right? I go across on TripAdvisor, I try and read a bunch of blogs and then try and figure out what's the most happening locality within, let's say, Vladivostok, and then go ahead and recommend across something to the customer. Here, our system does that job for you in the instance, right? So out of 756 different properties which are available in Paris, right? Our system has figured out that, okay, this particular property might be ranking as number one, considering the budget that you have, right? So it takes across two primary factors into consideration. So it takes across location score and it takes across the review score, right? Here, our system has identified within the budget that I have, this Les Lapines Blanc is having a very good location score. And that's where the geospatial data comes into play, right? Where we go ahead and put across a certain score for location, how strategically placed that particular hotel is within that city. And as you can see, that this particular hotel is close to Notre Dame, it's close to Eiffel, right? All of those places. Now comes the review part, right? So reviews can be tricky, right? So if I go ahead and search for a review on a TripAdvisor, I can see a bunch of reviews written across for this particular 4-star hotel, right? So there might be, let's say, 200 different reviews, right? If I go on booking.com, right, there could be another 300 reviews and the ratings could be different altogether. So here, what we do is that we take a combined average of the ratings from Booking and TripAdvisor, right? And put across the average, right? And rather than rating a hotel as 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star, we go ahead and rank these particular hotels on a scale of 0 to 100. And why is that so? The reason is when, let's say, I have to go ahead and compare, let's say 2 or 4 stars, right? Which is having, let's say, very good hotel reviews and stuff like that, right? So how do I go ahead and compare between two similar 4-star properties, right? So over here, your customer can ask, right, is Holiday Inn better or is Mercure better? So how do you make a decision around that? So with the help of these scores, the decision making is very simple, right? Here, just by looking at these two reviews, I know for a fact that Holiday Inn Paris is marginally better with respect to reviews, but it is significantly better when it comes to the location score. So my obvious choice is selecting this Holiday Inn from here. At the same point of time, right, we have this inventory, like I said to you, is coming across from GRN Connect and TBO, right? And this is coming at the very same rates what are available within your own login. Now, traditionally, what happens is that I recollect my days at Otella. When I used to work, I used to open across a bunch of different supplier portals, right? And then I used to compare manually that, which of the particular pricing might be cheaper in which particular account. Here, our system does the job for you, right? Here, I don't need to look out for which particular room might be cheaper, right? So I can have two room types, right, with the same name, right? So this is a room with the 2 twin beds. This is a room with the 2 twin beds. I know for a fact that, okay, this is coming from an X supplier. This is naturally cheaper. So saves tons of my operational time out there, right? So that's how I go ahead and select the hotels. Now, with respect to the activities, right, this is the most beautiful part of the system, right? Here, the most painful task in any travel consultant's daily job is how do you go ahead and create the day-wise itinerary? Here, our system, with the help of NLP, identifies what might be the sightseeing which might be most appealing to you. And then it goes ahead and categorizes those particular activities in a day-wise manner over here, right? So you don't have to go ahead and create and put across these activities, right? And then later come to know that, that particular sightseeing was not operating on that day, right? Now you have to go ahead and issue the refund, right? The passenger was standing, that no bus came and all that stuff, right? So system takes care of a lot of those factors, right? Where it tries and avoids the operational hassles which are generally faced across. And not only that, the system will not only showcase across these paid activities, it will go ahead and also showcase you across the free activities as well. So for an example, let's say if I go to Istanbul, right, I go to, let's say this Bosphorus Strait, right, that bridge, right? Now, or let's say if I go to Delhi, right, I go to India Gate, right? So the India Gate doesn't have any ticket to attach to it, right? But if I go to New Delhi and don't go to India Gate, right, people will ideally, laugh at me that, that you haven't seen the most iconic monument in that particular city. So a system takes care of those particular aspects as well, where it goes ahead and suggests across the free attractions which you can choose. At the same point of time, then I have the ability to go ahead and modify and delete and all of that stuff from here as well. Similarly, I have the ability to go ahead and add the return airport transfers as well from here, right? System already picks up across what's the most suitable time for my arrival pickup as per my flight timings and the departure pickup for my departure flight timings. and then goes ahead and recommends me across the bunch of all the SIC transfers and the private transfers which Paris has to offer. And from here, I can go ahead and select it and then go about doing my job, right? Also very handy in going ahead and creating across a multi-city itinerary, right? So let's say if you want to go ahead and send across Joe from Paris also to Nice, right? Now, these are what the system will do is that system will first go ahead and recommend you what are the most ideal options that you can travel from Paris. But let's say if those options are not here, I always have the option to go ahead and create another itinerary from Paris to Nice, right? Where it will go ahead and figure out how do you get, let's say, from Paris to Nice, right? Where you should stay in Nice, right? All of those factors. Okay, so let me just
So if I may just add a few
Sure.
points here, Samir.
Sure. Yeah.
As a travel consultant, I've been working for the last 24 years. One of the
Right.
largest or biggest concerns for us was assuming a customer walks into your shop, let's say on a Thursday, and say, I want to go to Paris.
Right.
You take the details and then you send an email. Thursday you are busy. You send an email to the DMC on Friday.
Right.
Yeah. The
Right.
DMC is busy on Friday. Saturday, Sunday, the DMC doesn't work there.
Right.
Monday,
Right.
he replies back. Okay?
Right. Correct.
Tuesday, you've got everything, but
Right.
there's one thing which is missing, which you again ask for him for a reply or a question to the DMC.
Right.
He replies back immediately.
Right.
Wednesday, you put everything together, type the day-wise itinerary, and Thursday, you're able to send a quotation to your client. So this is what
Right.
typically has to happen. So from previous Thursday to next Thursday, you've lost 7 working days or you've lost a week to reply
Absolutely.
back to the customer.
Absolutely.
Now, with the
Absolutely.
system that Samim had just shown, and in fact, the entire thing comes as a PDF now. It's a matter of 2-3 minutes that you can give. And these are
Right.
all real-time inventories, real-time hotel bookings, real-time sightseeing and transfers, which is
Right.
combined into a dynamic package.
Right.
Yeah?
Absolutely, Joe. Right. So I think the fundamental thing what the system is able to do is that it tries and let's say reduce the dependability of having a destination expert within the travel agency. So like if I only have, let's say, a Europe expert, right, and the Europe expert is not available for that day, right, my queries are delayed till the time he comes back to the office, right? Here, our system is so intelligent that it will give across the most appropriate recommendations, right, without having a zero knowledge. So I really don't have any clue how do I reach from Paris to Nice, right? So the system itself has gone ahead and recommended me the flight. System has gone ahead and recommended me what hotels to stay at and what activities to stay at. And I can go ahead and email this entire itinerary to the customer in this beautiful PDF brochure format like this, right, which goes across with the destination content, right? Why are we recommending you that particular trip? The estimated expenses, food expenses, and the traveling expenses within that destination, right? Your travel summary, right? With your flight details, with your baggage details, right? With your hotels, right? Your device activity, along with the activity description for that particular day, right? So I do recollect my days in working with operations, right? Where it used to take me almost like, let's say, half a day to curate like, let's say, 14-day itinerary trip to Europe, right? And my recommendations were also pretty repetitive, right? I used to give across those very same hotels in Paris, very same hotels in Zurich to the customers, right? But with this, I can bring across lots of variation in my content and share it across with the entire customer, right? So this is all about the front end, right? Now let's look at some back end magic, right? Now, as Joe has told you, right? And I have told you earlier as well, right? There are only 3 things that you need to remember from this platform, what you can take home, right? First is you go ahead and create a website. The second thing is that it comes built along with its extranet inbuilt, like this one, right? Now, here is where your relationships come in, right? So I know for a fact that, that even large OTAs, right, with their tremendous amount of marketing managers in each of those destinations cannot beat you at a certain places, at a certain product, right? Because these are the relationships that you have built with the hotels. These are the relationships that you have built with the activity providers over a period of time where you have gone ahead and have these special relationships and special rates at your end. Here, you can go ahead and simply upload across all of that content from here, and not just upload that content over here, right? You also have the ability to go ahead and distribute this across to 350 plus websites that we have across all over the world. So how does this looks like, right, on the front end, right, when the customer goes ahead and searches for something, right? Let me just show you a quick example, and then we'll bring this entire thing to conclusion. So let's say that I have a customer in Dubai, right, who's looking for sightseeing, right? And you have got this very beautiful rate for Dubai sightseeing tours, right, which you have from your suppliers. What you do is that you go ahead and upload across that Dubai city tour over here as a content, right? Make it accessible to all. That means other travel agents also now have access to your content. So suddenly our platform becomes like a distribution medium to you as well. And what happens is that while the system will go ahead and recommend across all the activities that you can possibly do and the entire day plan for Dubai while you are out there, your this itinerary or your this activity that you have uploaded on the backend would also be showcased across under the list of all the activities which would be available for Dubai, right? So that means under the special deals, your Dubai city, right? And that's how you can go ahead and basically sell across or merge your DMC rate contracts and all of that stuff into the front end as well, right? And that's how you have the ability to go ahead and sell across multiple different products, right, at the same point of time. So yeah, that's pretty much about the front end over here. One of the important things which I like to explain across is, let's say, how the payments work on the platform. We also allow you to go ahead and connect across to your own payment gateway as well, right? So if you don't have a payment gateway, we will go ahead and connect you to the team at PayU. Tell them that, hey, this is the agency, right, which goes ahead and which requires their own payment gateways as stuff, right? And then you would have the ability to collect the payments from the passengers as well, right? So this is a kind of a detailed concept which is much more concerned with the operations, which I can always explain it to you later, right? So yeah, this is pretty much about the system, Joe. Anything else that, Joe, that I should highlight across to the customers right now? I mean, to the entire audience right now?
No, I think you pretty much covered both the front end and back end exception as well. Thank you so much for that, Samim. So I think I'm sure most listeners' thought process right now is, what is the cost of all this? You know, Joe has spoken, Samim has spoken, and you know, is it going to cost a bomb? So I think we need to go back to our slide and then tell them what's going to cost them.
Yeah. So let me just pause share and give you the control. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, Joe, we are able to see that.
Okay, super. So thank you once again, Samin, for that site demo. There are only 2 more slides with us now. So, so what does it cost to work with Pathfinder? So I'm sure that's the top of the mind for question most of you on the call this morning.
Right.
So we have made this a very simple pricing. There is nothing complicated in this. So what we offer is a SaaS service, a software as a service, which means you pay a monthly subscription to us. How much does it cost? It costs 3,750 rupees plus tax. It comes to about 4,425, if I'm not mistaken. So what is the cost that you have to pay to use this entire platform. Yeah. What comes with that platform is, like Samir mentioned, instant website that you can create and the extranet at the back end. And that's about it. So if there are modifications that you need that can be done, and our team will be happy to assist you with the additional costs. But for a normal travel agent, normal travel counselor, for a normal travel person who wants to close business, this 3,750 rupees per month, the subscription per month, is more than enough to close the sale. Yeah,
absolutely. Right. And Joe, another interesting fact, right? So I was having this TTF conversation with lots of agents, right? And what they say to me is that this is roughly 1/3 the cost of what they would ideally spend to even hire a fresher, right? So that's one of the interesting feedbacks that I also received from the agents.
That's interesting. Cool. So, sorry. So the floor is open for Q&A now. I think we're slightly overshot of the time, but it's fine. We can take a few questions. If there are any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can type it in the chat box.
Yeah. So we have one question from Chaitanya Tours, right? So he is asking the name of the Chennai-based travel agency website, right? So that's Travelberries is the one.
Before
I
that,
think.
there is one more from Manasa Sengupta. Samin.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. In a multi-day itinerary, how do I add custom activities, excursions, and can I choose which kind of hotel, right? I want beach, city center, homestays. Right, absolutely. So Manas, right, in the initial search form itself, what we have something is that we have also gone ahead and indicated, would you like to have, would you like to stay with locals, right? So we have this entire inventory, right, coming of the alternative accommodations, right? So when the search results are generated, right, you would be getting across those kind of search results as well, right?
Okay.
That's one.
Before we
Yeah.
before we take another question, there's Loveline has raised her hand. Hi, Loveline. Can you unmute yourself? And
So let me just invite Lavleen to ask. Okay.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, hi, Loveline.
Good to hear from you guys.
Thank you.
So I have a question, and it is just playing the devil's advocate for everybody else. Do you have any entry barriers, or is there any check that you will do on who you're giving this login to? Because the question I'm asking is that, if you make this into a fully flat world of making similar websites for 10,000 people across the country,
Sure.
then a lot of people will also get put off because there's no entry barrier between me and a non-professional having this and then just giving that URL to several people and say, okay, book on this. So are you enabling non-professionals also in this way and thereby creating more competition for the existing professionals?
Okay. It's a very valid question, Loveleen. Actually, what we are doing with this system, we are approaching three kinds of customers. So first of all, we are purely a B2B travel tech company, which means we don't deal with end customers. So our website is B2B2C, which means you're right. There could be some agency or a set of people who could take our website and give it to their end customers. So there are three kind of customers whom we look at. One is travel professionals like yourself. Two is a set of influencers, social media influencers who have large fan following, who will be able to inspire people to travel through their blogs and blogs, basically travel influencers. And three is SMEs, small and medium-sized corporates. We realize that a lot of small and medium-sized corporates want a tool like this because at the back end, there are a lot more functionality. This can actually also function as a CRM, as an accounting software, and so on and so forth. To answer your question, Loveleen, to be precise, yes, there could be a possibility where a travel influencer or a travel personnel who's just started overnight has taken our system, and they can also have access to these rates. You're right, it is possible. But having said that, unless you are a very large B2C player, yeah, I don't think anybody is going to come to, for example, if I do Joe Travels, yeah, so joe.pathfinder.io, I don't think apart from my friends and family of 100 people, anybody else is going to come to my website.
But that doesn't matter because all it's costing me is 4,500 rupees a month.
Correct. Agreed.
Right.
Agreed.
So if the entry barrier is so small and there is going to be no entry, not even a setup cost. So basically, from being from TBO being a B2B platform, you're basically bringing it out and flattening the whole thing, right? So, so what I don't understand is that how does one, support this as a travel professional? Yeah. Because I'm just opening more, I'm just bringing down barriers for everybody else to do the same.
Right. So, Joe, let me just answer a part bit of it, right? So what we are doing, Lovely, in terms of, let's say, the additional barriers is that while there is a common playground for everybody, right, where they have an access to a TBO or a GRN and stuff like that, we are bringing across definitely an entry barrier to the offline inventory part. So let's say if you do significantly, let's say Singapore really well, right? You have that advantages over the rates and stuff like that. You go out and put it across on the system, right? But let's say with respect to the distribution of that inventory, right? We would be putting across, let's say, a certain deposit threshold, right? So only professionals like you, right, who have already established a destination expertise are able to put across that content, right, to the external world or to the bunch of the entire platforms. The reason also why we are not having, let's say, a selective preference for the agents is that the long-term view is basically to enable the marketplace, right, where we allow across specialized professionals like you to share across the inventory in a way to go ahead and, let's say, prevent any one large online travel company to have a monopoly from, right? So we are inviting pockets of specialization from various different agents like you, right, to come and participate on the common platform.
That doesn't answer my question, but I do not want to hog the time, so I will
Right.
leave that for later, and I'll give
Yeah.
other people a chance.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
There are a couple of other questions we'll quickly answer before three, four people have raised their hands. One is from Ashok. Are there any hidden costs apart from 3750 plus GST? Absolutely no, Ashok. 3750 plus 18% GST is the only cost that you have, unless you want to take few customization in terms of
Right.
adding a widget, what do you call it? Removing the Pathfinder, powered by Pathfinder logo at the bottom, things like those. There are additional cost to it. But for a normal travel agent, 3750 is the basic cost. Should we hire an IT guy to maintain a website? Absolutely not. That's
Right.
what we do at the back end. How do I add my pre-purchase hotels? Yes, you can add the pre-purchase of your hotels. That's where the marketplace kicks in, where the other agents. So once you come on board Pawan Raj Tours and Travels, I'm sure we'll be able to assist you with that. What are your future products and inventory expansion plan, Mudit? Quickly to take on this, currently we are in talks with adding on cruise inventory and rail Europe inventory. So what
Right.
we aim to be, or what we aim to become, is a one-stop shop. Obviously, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is a system which is evolving dynamically every day. And the idea is we want to put everything in one place so that partners don't have to go searching for a particular thing to a different vendor. Currently, we don't have a Rail Europe and cruise inventory. That's something which will come almost shortly. A few things also in the pipeline to bring Indian Rail and bus as well. But with the COVID situation currently, it's currently, I mean, it's there in the thought process, but it's not happening immediately. But these are the future products that we are looking at to add as well. Mr.
Right.
Vijay Sutran, where can a PAX contact someone if any failed service in her trip, especially in weekend in Europe and USA, as most of the time local operators don't work on the weekend. Okay, Vijay sir, when we give the vouchers, clearly in the voucher of the activity or the hotel, it's mentioned to contact their respective 24 hours helpline. Yeah, so it is mentioned in that. Most likely the first line of defense would be that.
Yeah.
Like for example, you are in US and your particular ticket to a museum is not working to enter. Please call the toll-free number which is given there, or the supplier's number given there. 9 out of 10 times they will sort it out. If in case it is not happening, obviously you can also get back to the travel agent whom you booked using Pathfinder, and travel agent at Pathfinder has got the contact of our customer success team or the operations team, and we can jump in and assist you to help on that. Yeah. Manish Sundrial, Samin, you want to take this? How does the customer support team work?
Yeah, so I think Joe, you have already answered the first part of it, right? I mean, the first line of defense is the contact support details which are mentioned in the vouchers itself, right? But let's say post that as well, right? I mean, we do share across the customer support matrix as well. where you can reach out to these various different suppliers. Since we don't have any vested interest in the margins, right? You can directly speak to these particular suppliers themselves, right? But apart from that, we also have a lovely customer success team, right? Which will definitely do the initial hand holding as well, right? Wherein if there is anything that's required, right, and there is an initial hesitation speaking to the suppliers, right, we'll make sure that we have that reasonable connect established. uh, that's the one, right? So Mohit has asked us, right, are there any different templates you have for the front end apart from this? So yes, Mohit, we are definitely kind of revamping the front end designs as well right now. Or the second option is that you can basically have this widget code, right? So you can get the basic website constructed from your own web developers, right? And you can have this particular widget code embedded on any part of your website, right? So you basically then eliminate the need for having or taking our design itself.
So Shilpa asked a question, is there 24/7 support system in case system fails? I'm Shilpa from Bangalore. Shilpa, to answer your question, to be honest with you, currently we don't have a 24/7 support system, but let me explain to you. What happens is all our mobile numbers are published, right from the CEO till the person who closes the sale. Now, in fact, it happened last evening. There was a very rare case. Normally, these are preempted by our system, but there was a very rare case when there was a fare jump last night when one of our travel partners was booking at 11:30 in the night. There was a fare jump, and because of the fare jump, the balance was not sufficient. It was two issues at the same time, which rarely happens, but it happened yesterday, and we are trying to fix that so that it doesn't happen again. So what happened was the customer success team got involved instantly. The senior members in the tech team as well as the operations team got involved at 11:30 in the night, because obviously the travel agent knows all our numbers, and all of us got involved, and it was resolved in 20 minutes time. So
Right.
that's the way we work currently. 24/7 support in that sense is there, because if you can't reach one person, you can definitely reach another person in our team, because we understand, Shilpa, that your success is our success. Because if we don't close a sale, it means that we have lost something. So we don't succeed if you don't success, if you don't succeed. So that's the mantra or philosophy behind what we have. But as the number of transactions grow, yes, we are looking at a 24/7 support as well.
Right. So one question, Joe, that you might like to answer is that this question is from Ashok, right? He says that currently the market seems to be low. Why is this a right time to take this solution? Very interesting question, I would say.
Okay, Ashok, thank you so much for this question. Yeah, actually, this is the right time to take when market is low. Our entry barrier, like Labin was mentioning, is also low. The idea is that travel agents, so what has happened in the last 18 months in India is a lot of travel agents have gone out of business. When I say gone out of business, not that they've gone bust, but it's just that they don't have business. Now, with the few inquiries which are coming in now, and in the 18 months they haven't done any business, or very less amount of business, they have to go again figuring out where is the Dubai DMC, where is my cruise supplier, where is the Maldives supplier. They have to get back to the drawing board. So our system gives you an instant jump pad to get back to your business instantly. So this is the right time, and it is not, like Samin pointed out, it's 1/3 or 1/4 the cost of an employee which you will have. And the next slide, the last slide which you have to show you, will explain to you that it's a subscription model. You use this for 1 month, you like it, you continue, you don't like it, you just drop out of it, no questions asked. We are extremely confident that you will love the product and you will continue. And that's why we have put our entire 5 years of sweat, blood, and work and energy of using artificial intelligence into the 1 month payment for you. Yeah, so that's a lot of things which we have put on the chopping board. Yeah, so after a month, if you don't want, you can chop off the relationship, which we are sure you will not do.
Perfect. So before Joe, I think we roll out the contest, right, for everybody, right? Just a couple of quick add-on related questions, right? So Mohit asks us, Can I collect the international payments? Yes, Mohit, you can with the help of PayPal. PJ Holidays asks us, is there a cost associated with removing the Pathfinder logo? Yes, there is a cost associated with removing the Pathfinder logo. We would be happy to share across those details with us. My colleague Sanjeev will basically share across our registration form over here in the contact in the chat section, right, from where you guys can register, right, and we'd be happy to answer across any questions that you might have or which are unanswered over here right now, right? So Ashima also asked us, is there a uniqueness to the UI and UX that we can bring across to? Yeah, so that's again pointing out to that same widget part of the questions, right, which we can do. Ross asked us if there, okay, do I get apps also in this solution? So Rosh, in this particular price, what's displayed on the screen right now is that you will get a desktop and the mobile web solution. We can definitely go ahead and give you across the Android and the iOS licensing as well, so that you can have your own branded apps on the App Store and the iOS Store, right, with your company's brand name on it. So yeah, so last question perhaps is from Shilpa. Okay, so this is like, can we add Amazon Pay, GPay, Phone Pay, UPI? So Shilpa, we have the PayUse payment gateway already integrated, which allows you to go ahead and collect payments from multiple wallets and even from UPIs as well. So yeah, I think Joe, we should be good to roll out that particular plan of ours.
Yeah, sorry for positive, the lack of time. We have overshot by about 6 minutes. We're just cutting short this. You can always reach out to our sales team. Mr. Vijay Putran, thank you for this idea. SIM card service for overseas is also a good value add, which we will definitely consider. Thank you for that as well. Great. So let me close this and question. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can, Joe. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the last screen. So how do we get the free credits? For the first 30 travel partners who sign up with us post this webinar, the first month is absolutely free. So it's basically like a freemium. We're giving you to give a trial a system. Post 30 days, you have an option to continue with the subscription plan, or you can just simply choose to cancel it. No questions asked. Does it sound interesting? Great. I think my colleague Sanjeev has shared the the registration link in the chat, pathfinder.io/form/registration. You could go there and register. So post this, now it's 12. After 12/5, the first 30 people who register in our system will get the first month credit. So let me stop sharing here and let me switch on my video and I come back. So that's it from our side. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining us this morning. Now it's moved to afternoon.
In fact, Joe, we have Rudy who is joining us from Europe right now, right? It's far too early in the morning for him, but he's still
thank you so much,
time
Rudy.
to join this. Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rudy, for joining us.
Yes, I joined you about 10 minutes ago, so I got something. So because I was very interested in your thing, and I liked it very much, although your presentation earlier, but then a lot of things came between, and I was very happy when I see from some in the invitation. Thank you.
Super. So we had about 46 people when I think that is the maximum participants who came in. So thank you so much for that. And if all goes well, we'll try to make this a quarterly event so that we can get on more people on board. Once again, thank you all and have a good afternoon. Thanks, Abhim. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much. Very nice. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.